everyone is a personal brand, and most people have ways to make revenue by getting referrals. And so I implore people to build their personal brand. I implore people to utilize social media because it leads to revenue. And if you think none of that applies to you, one more thing. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
So you have a passion for fitness and the desire to start your own business. But launching a massively successful fitness business is extremely complex. The systems, operations, hiring, firing, coaching, sales, and marketing are critical to success. Where do you even start? This show will give you the answers. Here is Bedros Keuilian and Bryce Henson, your hosts of the Fitness Franchise Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms.
Welcome back, friends, to another incredible episode, as today's guest is a mega American entrepreneur with an impressive rap sheet, so here we go. He's the youngest founder of a publicly traded company in history, and after licensing his apparel for $9.5 million a starter, at the ripe old age of 19, he went on to scale his energy drink products to 55,000 retail stores worldwide. And he's also launched one of the top 5 online poker sites in the world, and his charity, Model Citizen Fund, is the official sponsor of the World Series of Poker Europe. Now, he also co-founded the $100 million Mastermind experience, Operation Black Site, in his agency, Elevator Studios, spent over $60 million with social media brands, film studios, and consumer products. Dan Fleyshman, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Holy smokes, what a rap sheet, my friend.
Gonna have to pack it all in.
Well, thanks for being on the show. We got a lot to cover, but first things first, what's the backstory?
So I started my company in high school. I trademarked the catchphrase, "Who's your daddy?" for over 300 products. My partner at the time, he was my partner, he was just my friend at school. He used to say, "Who's your daddy?" Like throw the football down.
Yeah.
And whether the girls liked it because they thought it was cute and funny, or the guys liked it like, rah, or people just took it as comedy, people had a different reaction to it. Everybody enjoyed it for some reason. And so I trademarked it, and I put it on the t-shirts.
At 19 years old?
At 17 first.
Oof.
And then we went to a convention. I'll give you the fast forward version. Went to a convention, did over $1 million in sales at our first show. It's called Magic in Las Vegas. 19, we ended up getting this big deal with Starter Apparel for $9.5 million. 23 years old, decided to take it public on the stock market. I don't know why. We were babies at the time. And from 23 to 27, I literally don't remember. All I did was knock on doors and sell. Knock on doors, sell. Get on a plane, get in the car, sell, 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 sell. Got 43 distributors into 55,000 retail stores. Like, don't remember anything. No birthdays, no dating, no nothing. Like, I had a girlfriend, don't remember. I was just in the zone for 4 years, just sell, sell, sell. And so once we got the distribution, we were at the 7th largest energy drink there was, out of 900. And then I wanted to put another feather in my cap. So I started my online poker site. I resigned on the 10-year anniversary. So I started when I was 17, when I was 27, resigned, feather in my cap, started a poker site. So I signed Dan Bilzerian, DJ Steve Aoki, Playboy Playmates, Poker Pros, put them all together.
How did you have all these
relationships? We're gonna get to the relationships.
All right.
So I put all these characters together to start a poker site. And within 10 weeks, we were live. I was living in a place called Malta. I had never heard of Malta before.
Like near Italy?
Yes.
Okay.
Right underneath the boot of Italy.
Yeah.
Didn't know that before that. Put on a backpack, moved out there to get my gaming license, started a poker site, and with only 5 employees, built up the 3rd biggest poker brand in the world out of 550 sites. And within 10 months, we were just rock and rolling. It was insane. And then online poker gets shut down in America. And so all of a sudden, I lose a company worth $65 million overnight.
Phew.
I'm still alive. I don't get in trouble like my competitors do. We'll probably get more into that story later. But by default, I become number 1. Don't want to win that way. And so I decided I'm going to close it down. I pay back 41,000 people the next few days, just manually paying back 41,000 people. It's not easy, especially back then. And I was like, you know what? Never going to have all my eggs in one basket again. So I started to become an angel investor. And so the worst business moment of my life became the best thing that's actually set me up forever.
Holy smokes.
I started my social media agency. I started consulting for 3 land-based casinos. I get hired by Morgan Stanley to consult for them and KPMG. Like, I started getting hired by big firms to teach them about online poker and the whole gaming space. And I started my social media agency. And I started angel investing. And I started throwing events. I started doing all these things where before I was a one-trick pony on one company. One company for 10 years, and then this company. And so that business tragedy turned into my business success. And so since then, I've angel invested in 36 companies. And my agency, like you mentioned, we spend around $60 million with influencers for brands, products, and mobile apps. And my true passion is my charity. That's what I enjoy, is helping the homeless with that charity and throwing all these events. There's just so many cool events, and a lot of them are my excuse to meet people, which is the relationship question you asked was, how did you meet these people?
But I'm going to stop there and just give you some framework for our audience maybe doesn't know Dan. Joan, who's assistant at Bedros, literally refers to you as the most connected guy with the most relationships ever. So I want to lay that foundation so that way you can kind of storytell a little bit on how this all came to be.
So people often ask me about my network. And the way I did it was, 'cause I'm an introvert, I'm quiet, right? And so if you throw me into a restaurant or bar or nightclub, like, I'm not going to go walk up and be like, hey, buddy, how's it going? It's not me. If you speak to me, I can talk to you for hours, just like an introvert can. Most introverts can speak lots. They'll speak for hours. But they're never going to be the one to approach.
Interesting.
And so what did I do? I started throwing events. I know who I am. I'm not going to change being an introvert, because that's not how I'm wired. But if I throw the events, you got to come up to me. He's going to come over to me. She's going to come to me. And you're going to bring me the most important person in the room because you want them to meet me, because I'm the host of the event. I invited you. And so by natural default, you're just going to bring over all the people I want to meet in the room, and anybody that I don't know, they're also going to walk over to me because I'm the host of the event. I'm the one holding the microphone. I'm the one with the party hat on. I'm the one doing the catering. I'm the one that greeted them at the door. Like, I'm the one. And so by throwing these events, it forced me, the introvert, to be extroverted. But more importantly, it forced everyone to come to me. And so I started meeting all these people because, let's say you're a billionaire or a zillionaire or a rapper or a business mogul or really busy. I can't provide any value to you. Like, I can't buy you a watch.
Right.
I can't buy you a car. I can't buy you a coffee or a dinner. It doesn't really mean anything. But if I throw an event, you can't buy cool. And so if I throw a cool event, you want to be there.
You can't buy cool.
Correct.
Love it.
And so I started inviting people that are athletes, entertainers, musicians, rappers, business moguls, etc., to come to my event. And all of them started showing up.
But how so? Did you have like an internal network where maybe you got a few and then they shared their friends?
Once you start, if you build it, they will come. So if you say, hey, I'm throwing elevator night, which is the name of my event, I've thrown 39 times for free. Elevator night's free. My very first event, I was hoping to have 40 people. I had 165. How? I only invited the 40 that I thought I could get. And what did they do? They started calling. Hey, football player. Hey, rapper. Hey, you're going to be in town? Hey, there's this cool event, and there's this football player coming. Hey, this rapper's coming. Hey, this business guy's coming. Hey, the guy that owns the car dealerships is coming. Hey, the guy that owns the bank is coming. Hey, that guy. And all of a sudden, 2 or 3 days prior to the event, I go from a 40-person guest list to 165. And by the way, all of them are vetted. It's not like just random people. I don't publicly post it.
Right.
And so now I've got 165 in the room. I'm the one holding the microphone. I don't know the football players. I don't know the rappers. I don't know that entertainer. I don't know that tattoo artist. I don't know that guy with 8 car dealerships. I don't know that lady that owns 22 restaurants. I don't know them. Now I do. And they want to know me. I'm just the kid holding the microphone. And so I did that over and over and over and over and over. And I still do it over and over and over because it's my excuse to call anyone I want in that city. I can go to any city, and now I can call the owner of the chain, or the owner of the hotel, or the owner of the casino, or the owner of this, or the owner of 2,000 properties. I'm not scared to call any of them because my event is cool. Whether it's a charity event, a business event, an exciting event, a learning event, they want to go to events.
Because that's the value you can provide them where you normally wouldn't be able to.
There's nothing, what can I give them?
Right.
What do you give Bedros?
Execution.
Right?
Yeah. Nothing material value.
No.
Yeah.
And he's a busy dude. So if you can't be like, I'll buy you coffee.
Like, thanks.
Yeah. I probably own a coffee company, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is he? So, but if I go to Bedros and say, hey, will you come speak at my events, which he did, and I threw a big boot camp event, he flew from Miami, stopped over, and came over because it was him, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, the whole squad's there. He wants to be there. So this is before we got to be close to each other.
Was that the first point? Because I know he's talked about this event, and that's how I think he got connected with Ed Milet and all that because of your event.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
But now think about all the moving pieces. Now, Ed Milet plus Andy plus Bedros plus Sean Whalen, plus this character and that character, and I had like 20 speakers.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them became friends from that. Tom Bilyeu, all these guys become friends from that moment, and they attribute it to me. I didn't even get some of them by me calling. It's the other speakers saying, hey, would you speak at this event? Look at the other people that are speaking here. See what happens?
Yeah.
And so events are my, I don't want to call it secret sauce because I've always been vocal about it, but it's my secret sauce. Like that's how I meet so many people is I throw events, I throw charity events, I throw Steve Aoki's charity event, I throw my charity events for the homeless, I throw 4 events for children called Trina's Kids Foundation. The last 6 years, we throw 4 events a year. Report card day, back to school day, Thanksgiving food drive, toy drive. It doesn't cost you money to throw these events.
But from a logistical perspective, easier said than done, Dan, because let's face it, I mean, our audience there probably has maybe some experience with throwing an event, and the events that you throw, are very high caliber and they take a strong execution. So, like, what's your team look like? What's the logistics look behind that?
So every event I've mentioned so far doesn't have staff. Every event I've mentioned so far doesn't have budgets either. These are all my free events. I haven't talked about my masterminds. Those are the big production. Those are 7-figure, $1 million, $2 million events. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about elevator nights, which is free. I'm talking about my charity events, which are free. I'm talking about things that are free because I don't want to make it overwhelming. I don't want people to worry about my celebrity events. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I didn't do those until 8 years later. My mastermind started 2 years ago. I've been throwing events for a decade. If you really think about it. For 8 years, I had free events. I still have my free events.
It reminds me of Russell Brunson. I'm sure you know of him, and he wrote a book, Traffic Secrets, among a few. And one of the concepts is building your well before you're thirsty, and kind of laying that foundation. And as you say this, it just like literally sparks a memory because that's what you've done.
And some of it I didn't know I was doing. I didn't plan on making a high-end mastermind. I didn't plan on throwing a real estate mastermind. I didn't plan on doing Operation Blacksite. I planned on throwing every single quarter for a decade a free event for entrepreneurs and investors. If I do that, it's my excuse to call my rich friends every quarter, get the entrepreneurs excited, everyone's posting about me, everyone's meeting with each other, they're talking about my charity, they're doing stuff, they're getting my book, like stuff's happening. Those events are at a warehouse.
I was going to say,
not some fancy.
I was going to say, from a funding perspective, if someone listening is just kind of getting started, okay, I want to run an event like you, Dan.
Yeah.
But what's the dollars and cents in order to kind of execute something like that?
Good. Go on. My events are always Monday through Thursday, because on the weekends the venues are more expensive and they're busy.
Yep.
Go ask a local bar, restaurant, or hotel about a Tuesday night. Nobody's there. Nobody's booked in there. They would love for you to say, I'm going to bring 82 people in the real estate space on Tuesday night.
Now, playing the devil's advocate, Dan, like being that you live in, like we were just talking off camera, like the thick of it, Hollywood, which is, it's a big venue in itself. There's a lot of things going on. Would that have worked? That's the same strategy if you, lived in a more remote place.
My events have been in Wichita, Kansas. My events are in Florida. My events are in San Diego. My events are in Las Vegas. My events are overseas in London. My events are everywhere.
Trying to poke holes, man. You
Keep going.
got me.
Keep going. Yeah, all my stuff has been, because these are what I had to go through. They were free and cheap because that's what I had to work with. I have money, and I still wouldn't spend money on these because they're just free. These are my excuse to get people together. When people pay for masterminds, of course, then I'm spending lots of money.
Yep.
But when I'm throwing an event for free, there's no tickets, no sponsors, no sales allowed on stage. It's just free.
But, going back, you said the first 8 years, you planned on doing one event a quarter and just like clockwork, but you said you didn't fully know the full vision of what you were getting at. It just kind of morphed in that.
Right.
Back in the early days, what was your initial, if you can remember, your vision?
My very first one was upstairs of an art gallery. That was it.
Yeah.
And it's called Elevator Night, and I just invited those 40 people, and 165 showed up. And it was super cramped. And I just remember all the San Diego Charger players and all these different characters there and all the business guys and the guys that own all the boats. And I literally didn't know who they were. There was no social media back then. This is a decade ago.
But what was the outcome that you were trying to achieve with that specifically? Is it bigger?
I don't need ROI. That's the problem in our society right now. Everybody thinks every dollar they spend needs to have an ROI.
Yep.
I see all these brands that are held back because they think every single dollar I spend has to have an ROI. If I spend $10, I got to get back 18. No, you don't. You know what the biggest company in social media history is? Fashion Nova.
Fashion Nova?
The female fashion brand.
Oh, wow.
They do almost $2 billion in sales. And guess what? They never say, go buy my stuff, 80% discount. They say, sentence at Fashion Nova. Traveling at Fashion Nova. Going to dinner at Fashion Nova. Going to the club at Fashion Nova. Going to work out at Fashion. They just say the name of the brand over and over and over. There's no ROI, there's no link, there's no discount code, there's no comp code. People know how to go buy stuff. And so when I'm doing my things, when I'm building my brands, I don't have discount codes, I don't have ROI-based tactics, because that's not the point of these things. It's not how you build a brand. If you make it that way, people will treat it that way. If I buy that red shirt and you say, oh, buy it now for 10% off, that is not a trigger point. It's not. I've spent tens of millions of dollars on social media campaign posts and I've never done 10% off code. Where all my competitors care about 10% off and 20% off codes, thinking that's some emotional trigger. We are smart. We are numb to 10% off.
Meaning like consumers in general, yeah.
We're numb to it. 10% off is not like, oh, I gotta go buy it now. You say 80% off, yeah, sure. You say 70% off, yes. Unless you're at above 50% off, we're not gonna jump. That applies to everything in life. We don't need to forcefully tell people this is the discount or this is what you have to do, or it has to have a call to action on everything.
And it's just like playing the long game. I think that's what I'm listening to, Dan. I'm like hearing this, and audience, I hope you really get this message, at least the way it's impacting me. It's not always about short-term gain. It's about playing the long game and adding value.
I'm gonna be here for a long time. I'm gonna still be throwing events when I'm 70.
Heck yeah.
And so I know that if I throw an event, or I know if I sell a red t-shirt, I want you to buy the red t-shirt over and over and over. Me selling you a red t-shirt once doesn't do anything. You buy the red t-shirt once for 10% off, who cares? I make an $8 margin. Now, you buy the red t-shirt because I make you want to buy the red shirt because it's Bedros wears it, Andy Frisella wears it, Dan wears it, Ed Milet wears it, and you are like the red shirt because of that, you're gonna buy it every month or every quarter forever. That's what I want.
So kind of putting you in the spot and kind of flipping this to our audience facing who are interested in fitness, business entrepreneurship, and really the fitness space, what would you recommend, or some ideas like that, like longer term strategies versus just the buy my stuff now, which is very common in the industry?
So you can combine what we just talked about. You can now say, hey, I'm gonna throw a fitness event on Sundays at 9 a.m. or the first Sunday of the month if you want to just do it once a month, first Sundays of the month at 9 a.m. And you're gonna invite all the key characters you can. And once you get a couple key characters, everybody else wants to come. So if you have some social media influencers in town, or someone that owns a chain of gyms, or someone that's the big football player, basketball player, hockey player, soccer player, cheerleader, whatever, invite them to come do the workout on Sunday at 9 a.m. And there, you have your red shirts set up as a display rack there, and you have them there so people can buy them, or you can gift them, whatever you want to do, or both. And now Sunday at 9 a.m., guess what happens? 37 people show up. Your cheerleader, the football player, the basketball player, and the hockey guy showed up. They're doing the workouts with you. They're taking pictures with you. They're doing videos with you. They're making content with you. You're making it yourself. And the red shirt's there the whole time. The event is named after the red shirt, right? Whatever the name of the brand is. The name's named, let's just call it red shirt to keep it simple. The red shirt is the one throwing the event. You're the one hosting the event. Red shirt's part of it, but Sunday at 9 a.m., the athletes, the cheerleaders, the influencers, the yoga instructors, they're all coming there. Guess what? All of their followers are your perfect customers for the red shirt. Guess how much it costs for them to post for you? It rhymes with $0.00.
There we go.
They want to post about it. Because the Sunday event at 9 a.m. that's at the beach, or at the park, or at the basketball court, or at the yoga studio, or at a nightclub that's not open on Sundays because they're not open Sunday mornings anyway, right? They want you to do an event there. Because now 37 people are at the nightclub on Sunday morning, posting about the nightclub, posting with your red shirts, posting with the yoga instructor and the cheerleader and the football player. Guess how much it costs for me to throw this event? $0.00.
There we go.
You have a phone, and you can get a venue. You know how much a park costs? It's free. You know how much a beach costs? It's free. The local nightclub that's closed, it's free. Anyone you want, it's free.
So this is a very tactical example.
Yeah, because I want people to actually do it.
Yeah.
That's why it's tactical.
And this is what you've done over and over and over again.
Yes. This is not esoteric thinking like The Secret and hoping that the check's going to show up to buy your red shirts. No. You want to get your red shirts more famous and you don't have a budget? Great. Sunday at 9 a.m., literally this Sunday at 9 a.m., pick a venue for free, bring in the red shirts that you got, and start emailing, DMing, calling people that have a fitness following.
Influencers in your area.
That's it.
Yeah.
And when I say influencer, they don't have to have 1 million followers. Someone with 17,000 followers as a personal trainer will move way more units of your red shirt than someone with 1 million followers that's just pretty or cool.
Why so?
It's not even close.
Why so?
Because these 17,000 people care about fitness. So when you have a red shirt that's in the fitness space, they care. The pretty girl or the cool guy with 1 million followers, They're all over the place.
All over, yeah.
They're international. They're from every city and state and country. They're all different age groups. They like them because they're funny or pretty or cool or hot or whatever.
Yep.
Will they buy some red shirts? It's very possible. But this is a gamble. This is not. Because these 17,000 people, there's only one point to follow a personal trainer. You want to see them teach you about what they eat
Fitness.
and how they got their body.
Yep.
That's it. And so in that, if I look up to them for what they eat and what they work out and what they do, I'm much more inclined to buy the red shirt. Because why are they buying the red shirt? Why are they buying that health fitness brand shirt? That makes it interesting to me. When this person buys it, or this one person posts about it, I might watch it, but I might think that they got paid for it.
Right.
I might think it's a sponsored ad. Not that those things are bad, but I'm less inclined or less excited about it in that sense. Now, is it still good to have someone like this post for you to get general brand awareness? Of course. I'm not taking away from this because this is my business. This is these people.
It's not going to hurt.
Of course. But this person with 17,000 fitness followers, they're going to sell more red shirts. And so, your event this Sunday 9 a.m. that costs you nothing, you literally Instagram message, Facebook tweet at, LinkedIn, send a carrier pigeon. I don't care how you get a hold of them. Sunday 9 a.m. come to my event for free. Okay, it's invite only. And then at that event, you're going to have this interesting combination of people that are also now going to meet each other and post together. It's called forced interactions. So cheerleader meets the hockey guy meets the football player meets the guy that owns 6 car dealerships, who meets the lady that has 200 properties in town, the yoga instructor, and they're taking pictures and videos together. So that happens.
Yeah.
And your red shirt is the center of all of it. Don't have any other brands, don't have sponsors, don't have other products, red shirts. And you win. And it costs you nothing. And guess what? If nobody posted and no sales happened, what did it cost you?
Yeah, time.
You had a fun event on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, and you learned a lot too.
But I can guarantee you people are going to post.
Totally.
Because they want to.
Well, now kind of transitioning, speaking about posting, and Dan, I mean, you have a variety of zone of geniuses, but one of them is marketing, social media marketing. So just want to kind of dive in, and we have your book out here, How to Set Up Your Personal Brand for Less Than $1,000. If you can kind of talk to us about the value of social media and maybe some strategies and value there.
Sure. So what's fascinating about social media is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, and all the major platforms all have one major thing in common. They're free, 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 and free. You'll notice the theme of what we're talking about today. It's all free.
Yeah.
Everybody makes everything feel so overwhelming, but all the reasons I can execute is because I know what the cost is. In most cases, it's free. It just takes time and energy. And it takes you to actually follow through. And so with social media, not doing it is crazy. Because everyone has a personal brand, whether they like it or not. That's the whole point of this book. You have a personal brand whether you like it or not. And people are like, no, I don't. I'm just a single mom with 3 kids. I live in Alabama. I'm a real estate agent. You're a personal brand. Because Becky, John, and Sue all think about you. Some of them don't even know you have a real estate. They don't even know you're a real estate agent.
Right.
Some of them don't know you have any kids. Some don't know that you like to bake cookies. Some don't know that you like to play basketball.
Right.
You know why? Because you don't post anything or tell them anything.
Right.
So they just hear rumors around town, or they talk to their friend, or they might have met you once at the local coffee shop, and they only know one part of your life, even though you have such a multifaceted life. And so you have a personal brand whether you like it or not, whether it's this big, this big, this big, or what you think is quiet. So it's up to you to decide, do you want them to tell your story, or do you want to tell your story? Do you want to build your personal brand in the sense of, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I love my 3 kids, I have 2 puppies, I bake cookies on Saturdays with the local moms. On Sundays, I actually ball out. I play basketball. And all the boys come. And I'm playing basketball at 24 Hour Fitness, and I'm up against the big dogs. And I'm 5'6", and I'm just whatever. Like, all those things could be compelling, and each one of them leads to what's called an emotional trigger. So let's say now you and I are talking, and you're like, you know what? I was thinking about buying a 4-plex in Alabama. I'm like, wait a minute. I know this lady I've been following for 2 years. She balls out, she plays basketball, she bakes cookies, and I know she does real estate. I've seen her post about it every Friday and Saturday. By the way, she doesn't know me. I don't know her. I've just been following this lady because I like that she plays basketball, and I know that she's a real estate agent, and guess what? You know how much a 4-plex is in Alabama? It's probably about $400,000. And so her 3% or 6% commission is $12,000 to $24,000 of commission from Dan referring you to her. We never met. That's a personal brand. And that applies to everything, whether she was a personal trainer, whether she was a chef, whether she was a nutritionist, whether she was a real estate agent, a lawyer, an accountant. Everyone is a personal brand. And most people have ways to make revenue by getting referrals. And so I implore people to build their personal brand. I implore people to utilize social media because it leads to revenue. And if you think none of that applies to you, one more thing. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So let's say you're never going to sell anything, right? You're like, you know what? I am the single mom with 3 kids. I am not going to sell my baked cookies. I'm not going to teach people how to play basketball. I'm not going to tutor anyone. And I don't want to do real estate anymore. My husband won the lottery. And you know what? He just said I can invest in real estate on our own, and I'm not going to do it. I know how to invest in real estate. I'm going to take care of this myself. Well, wait. What if this kid, when he turns 6, wants to raise money for his local baking thing at school? And this kid, when she turns 13, wants to go to the national cheerleading competition and has to raise. You're not allowed to give it to her. She has to raise money from the local people. And what about this kid turns 19 and she wants to start a company? And her company is going to do something for flowers all around the country. You funded her because you're rich now and you know how to invest in real estate. That's great. But she wants to scale her business on her own. She doesn't want mom. Having it and not needing it versus needing it and not having it. Because you could help them in any of those scenarios. And then your dad, who's now 78, and he wants to raise money for leukemia for one of his friends, you could be posting about it with your followers. And your other buddy that comes over for dinner once a month, he's got a new book, and you could be posting about it for him. So it's not only just about you building a personal brand. It's not only just for you to convert or have an ROI. There's so many reasons why having a following matters.
So that does a great job of explaining the why. So now we're some strategies, some tactics. I'm sure you hit in the book that, how to be able to leverage and really create and grow your personal brand.
So you want to create what's called top of mind awareness. That's when earlier I said, I got that trigger point when I thought of her in Alabama. The way you create top of mind awareness is consistency. If you post once a day, you will give yourself a great opportunity to have top of mind awareness for these moments. So that when you ask about the fourplex, I think of her.
Right.
When you ask about, hey, is there a basketball instructor in Alabama? I think I'm going to stay there for 2 weeks. Hey, do you know anyone that makes amazing cookies that maybe they'll ship them to me? Everything that she does, I now think of her for the different aspects of her life. Even though she's a real estate agent, I know she bakes great cookies. I know she teaches basketball. I know she does X, Y, and Z besides real estate.
But assuming that she's consistently posting content.
Correct. If she just posted about real estate, I wouldn't know the other things.
Right.
If she just posted about basketball, or just posted about kids, just posted about puppies, just posted about this, I wouldn't know the other aspects of your life. So posting once a day, different aspects of your life, 3 to 4 things should be about your business or your career, your profession, or your hobby. But the other 2 to 4 things should be about you like to magic tricks, or you like poker, or you like basketball, or you like to go running, or you like to go to the gym, or you like the other things that are parts of your life, because those will create the emotional triggers that lead to the top of mind awareness. So how do you create content? Well, it's a mixture of photos and videos. Both are important. Neither need to be fancy. You do not need D-Rock like Gary Vee to follow you around with 15 videographers to make you a fancy video.
Why? Because I think that's a very miscommon.
It's a great crutch for people to not get started.
Yep.
Because they think they need to have D-Rock and 15 videographers like Gary.
Right.
Nobody has that, right? Gary has that. Nobody else has that. But I will tell you to make you feel better, when D-Rock makes a fancy video for Gary and it has all the graphics and those are edifying. So those are exciting, and that builds a profile, builds a brand. The videos of Gary holding his phone like this have 400 to 800% higher engagement.
My guess is because of the authenticity, but share with your perspective.
So the reason is authenticity. Because when we're scrolling through and we see fancy graphics and words and closed captioning and fire, we look at it as a commercial.
Yeah, totally.
We feel like someone's selling us something. Gary's not even selling us anything. We just feel like it because we're trained and we have a little PTSD that we're getting sold to. It's another commercial, it's another commercial, it's another commercial. And so when we see the fancy video, we're less likely to engage with it. We're less likely to watch it. You still need it, so it's not once in a while you don't want to have a fancy video. Completely unnecessary. The video, holding of your phone, of you doing what you're doing, or your son or daughter or friend or cousin or employee or staff or volunteer filming you, will convert so much higher than any fancy video. Next, on photos. Having your photo super photoshopped and super edited will get much less engagement.
Less.
Yes. Nobody's perfect. The reason you want to have your hair a little bit off, or you'll notice, I'll use Gary as another example, there's misspellings, besides that he knows he's not a good speller. When there's misspellings, his engagement goes to the roof because people try to say, oh, there's an E here instead of an A. Who cares, right?
Do you think he does that intentionally, or is it genuine? Both.
Yeah. He literally is bad at spelling, but like in text messages. But in captions, some of it feels almost like, come on, like you know how to spell that word. However, the engagement goes to the roof because all the little army of soldiers that has to be, the grammar police has to say that it's wrong. What happens when that happens? Well, when your engagement goes higher from these people, that doesn't lead to anything, right? You're not getting any sales from them or any interesting things from them. But your reach actually gets wider and bigger and stronger because Instagram is now tricked. They just see a bunch of people commenting. They don't know what they're commenting.
So see traffic, eyeballs, and Instagram probably thinks, okay, this is relevant content.
He normally gets 200 comments, but why is he getting 600 comments? We should get him to 2,000 comments because now more people should see it because these 600 people instead of normal 200 people are typing away. Instagram doesn't realize that they're typing away because he spelled lead instead of lead. That's it. And so when you're taking your photos or making your videos, be natural, be vulnerable, tell people the behind the scenes, tell them the storyline of how you got to what you're doing. And when you just show them the finished product, if I just showed the book after it was done, people would have no emotional attachment.
Right.
But what if 3 months ago I said, hey guys, I'm writing my second book. It's called How to Build Your Personal Brand for Under $1,000. I'm trying to come up with the cover for it right now. I think I have all the chapters laid out. I'll keep you guys posted. And then a week later, I show sketches of this cover. And I have this version and 3 other versions and say, hey, here's the 4 different versions. Which one do you guys think?
You're like taking them along the journey with you, and they're like emotionally invested and attached to the product and the evolution.
And they're voting A, B, C, or D, right?
Right.
A. People are voting for A. This is the one that they're voting for A. And then a week later, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to post about 7 or 8 of the platforms. Should you think I should post about BitClout or should I post about Clubhouse? What if they're not going to be here later? What do you guys think? Should I write about them in the book? And then a week later, what happens 3 months later after I've asked them what to put in the book, what should be on the cover, should I get someone to do a foreword or not? They're emotionally attached on every level. This is their book now too.
Right.
They helped me write it. Same thing applies to your business. When I opened my sports card store, I showed the outside the store the day I got the lease. I said, just got this lease, blah, 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 blah. And I walked them through the space that looked like a construction zone. That's not sexy. I got more engagement on that than almost any post I've ever done.
It's just like raw, authentic, like behind the scenes footage.
I literally walking through a 1,500 square foot sports car store that was rubble, under construction. Dirt still falling from the ceiling.
And people are engaged.
No, not just engaged. Through the roof. That's their card store now too. And so I'm walking them through saying, hey, I'm going to paint the walls here. Should I add this here? I'm going to put the cases in like a U shape here. I'm thinking about for security, I should have 24/7 because this is why the streets are pretty crazy right now on Hollywood Boulevard. The COVID's here. Now they're emotionally attached for my safety. Oh yeah, you should have 24/7 security. Oh, you should add a metal gate there. Oh, I know a vendor who maybe should see what's happening. It's their card store too now. And so I show people the behind the scenes of my events, of my charity. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, sports cards, acai bowls, books, whatever I'm doing, I'm showing the behind the scenes because it's their acai bowls too. It's their book too. It's their event too.
So, with that framework in mind, authentic content, posting behind the scenes, daily posting, how do you actually curate all that content? Because you're giving a specific example that you're there at the card store or our audience, opening their gym, kind of going through the construction site. But, certainly, there's more content that needs to be made. Like, do you batch process content, big level or high level? I'm just curious from not only a content creation perspective, but from a scheduling perspective, how you're able to create all this.
So you want to try to do as much content as you can on a Saturday or Sunday. Pick a Sunday morning and film or photograph 10 to 20 pieces of content. Because on a Wednesday at 9 a.m., you hear Jiminy Cricket, you hear me on your shoulder, like, you should be posting. You don't know what to post.
Right.
I'm not asking you to do that. Film it all 3 weeks prior. I don't care. None of this stuff is time sensitive. Only thing that's time sensitive is if you're posting about like a basketball game, NBA finals.
Yeah.
That's time sensitive.
Clearly.
McGregor versus Mayweather. That's time sensitive. Like things in the moment are time sensitive. You don't need to post about that stuff very often. That's more for like a Twitter or Facebook anyway. When you're posting for pages like Instagram or platforms like Instagram, you could film 10 pieces of content on a Sunday. Let's use that lady as the example. 3 basketball videos, 3 cookie videos, 3 real estate videos, and 1 of you explaining why, blah, blah, blah. And now in her phone, she's got 10 days worth of content. And in between, there's some of the days she can pull her phone out and just make content. She can do the photo at the event, or a photo at the school with her kids, or a photo on the basketball court when she beat the guys. Like, she now has that content. And in between, she can make extra content. But when she doesn't have it on Wednesday morning, she's got, goes into here, and she knows what to shoot. She knows it. She's got it saved up. And so if she doesn't feel well, or the kids are sick, or she's traveling, and she hears Jiminy Cricket, she hears Dan, like, you got to post. She has it in her phone.
She hears Dan.
Yeah.
Love it.
She has it in her phone. And so you don't need to be every day making content. That's not realistic. I don't make content every day. There's plenty of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays that are boring, and I'm just typing all day. What content am I going to make on a Wednesday when I'm working? Or I'm in 8 hours with lawyers, or 8 hours in headache, or 8 hours with an accountant. Like, there's nothing to post that day, and I'm in the zone, so I don't. What do? Before I get to the lawyers, before I get to the accountants, or before I get to the office, or before I get to whatever construction zone, I make my post, and I put my phone in my pocket, and I go. People make social media so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be spending hours and hours a day on it. It's not. You can peruse around if you want to. It's completely unnecessary. If you're building your personal brand, you need to be posting and engaging when you want to. Interacting and responding when you want to. On your off hours, you can interact on social media. And that will also help your personal brand. If I comment on your page and comment on her page, comment on his page, that will help me as well. But is any of that required? No. But it is required, especially if you have any type of business, any type of charity, any type of aspirations, or anybody around you that you care about, to build up your personal brand and tell your story. That's required. That's Jiminy Cricket thing.
So, in this interesting, I'm going to actually, Dan, a question about myself, but I'm sure it can be applicable to the audience as well. But, here I am, and actually at the time of this recording, I'm not, but by the time this actually pushes out, I'm the CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp. So, with that in mind, my goal here is to continue to grow the brand from, an ownership perspective. But I'm also still a fitness professional. I own 2 locations in Orange County. So I'm the lead on this big brand, but I also am a local kind of coach, if you will. Yeah. When I'm posting for my avatar, which avatar am I posting for? Because certainly in a guy like you or some other people listening from this audience perspective, maybe have a side hustle or a couple other things. Curious for like what the focus should be. So
there's 2 different versions of you. The CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp is a chain with hundreds and hundreds of locations.
Right.
So this is a very edified person that's like on stage, on podcasts, CEO of a big chain that does lots and lots of revenue.
Right.
And it's going to go from hundreds of locations to hopefully thousands, right?
Right.
That's one level. Who better to trust and feel comfortable with than the guy that actually owns a couple locations? So I still want to see you in the actual gym. I still want to see you at your location sometimes. I still want to see you at the venue when there's a workout going on, whether you're working out or not. I still want to see you in it. Look at Mark Wahlberg in F45. He's there all the time. All the time.
All the time.
And he's rich.
Yeah.
Like rich, right? He doesn't have to do that. He cares. And he's not even the founder of the brand. And so you guys live and breathe this brand. This is your, I don't even know, there's so many words to describe it. And so for you, we would feel more comfortable, I would feel more comfortable watching you as the edified character, the CEO of the chain, of the brand, of the business, seeing you in those locations. Because it's just the same way that we watch politicians. The reason they go out and they go shake the hands and kiss the babies is it makes them feel more endearing.
Totally.
This is the most famous human in the world, right? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, all these characters, Obama, etc. They're the most famous humans in history.
Right.
Those are the same people that go literally across the country to shake hands and kiss babies. That's literally their job.
Right.
Is to make themselves feel part of the people. And so for you, as the big fancy politician in that example, you should be out there
kissing babies and shaking hands.
Yes.
Now, from a platform perspective, it's interesting because we've talked about Instagram, which obviously all the platforms, very, very deep knowledge on. Facebook to me is more kind of that interpersonal connectivity, where Instagram kind of is more from an authority perspective. Can you kind of shed some lights on the differences and just
Sure.
the platforms in general?
So you want to post across every major platform. That's building what's called omnipresence, which is the main word on here. Omnipresence is mandatory and useful because you don't know where your followers and fans live. You don't know if they love Twitter, or they love Facebook, or they love Instagram, or TikTok, or LinkedIn, etc. You don't know which one they love. Or you don't know if they follow you on multiple platforms, or they missed you on this platform, but then they see you over here. So it's worth it to spend the extra 4 minutes and 18 seconds to just copy and paste the same exact caption with the same exact photo and video across each one of these platforms. Mm-hmm. Now, if Facebook is your jam, that's the one that you like the best, make your content for Facebook. Then take that exact same photo, that exact same video, at the exact same time. You don't have to listen to all the gurus and wizards and experts that think you should post this time here, this time here, this time here, this time here because you posted this time over here.
Right.
It's literally poppycock. It's all nonsense. It's nonsense. Post when people are awake.
Post when they're awake.
That's it.
Easy.
And they're awake, especially 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. West Coast time, PST, because that's noon to 9 p.m. East Coast.
Yeah.
And it's just early enough that if they're overseas, that they're still awake, especially if you post in the morning. If you do that, and you post at 9 a.m. on Facebook, at 9:01, post on Twitter, and 9:02 on Instagram, 9:03 on TikTok, 9:04 on LinkedIn.
Good to go.
That's it. And then you move on with your day.
Now, do you have a recommendation of a specific, because there's, some other brands like Hootsuite and a few other social media platforms where you can kind of, from a scheduling perspective, make things easier. Is that something that you recommend?
So I don't use any platforms to make it easier because it's too easy.
What do you mean by that?
I can go onto Twitter before you can make it to the parking lot and do my post. The parking lot's 24 feet from here?
Yeah, close.
I'm copy and pasting and pushing submit. I'm copy and pasting and pushing enter. I'm copy and pasting and pushing post. That's it. And so if I'm going to post on Facebook at 9 o'clock, I don't need something to post for me at 9:01, 9:02, 9:03, 9:04. I just don't. And if I miss it one day, I'll survive and everybody will survive. The world will still keep moving. And I'll post it the next day. And if instead of posting at 9, I posted at 11:22 because I was busy, everybody will survive. All these platforms and all these third-party scare me. I don't want them to have my passwords. I don't want them to have login. And they're great companies, but I've watched the FBI and CIA and banks get hacked. So I don't need, another way for something to get hacked. I just don't need it.
Right.
Because it's not actually saving me much time for something that takes so little time. If I had to go rewrite my caption or make new content or make new this or make new that, maybe different. I strongly suggest people to repurpose content. You have your one photo or video, repurpose it by posting on all the other platforms. If it's not relevant to LinkedIn, don't post it there. You don't post puppies on LinkedIn.
Right.
If it's not relevant to TikTok, don't post it there. But Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, there's nothing you can't post on one that you can't post on the others. Nothing. Zero. And if you post there, and you spend those few minutes, and you do it consistently, just by natural default, you are going to gain a following. And the posts that you make can't be about you. When I say about you, they can be about you. They can't be about you for yourself. So if you're doing the selfie every time, I can comment on your selfie once in a while, right? How many times can I say, you look great, bro, or you look hot, girl? How many times can I say that? I can't say it all the time. If I do it every day, I'm going to be a weirdo.
Right.
Right? But if once in a while you're like, hey, here's my progress pic. Hey, I've been working out for 30 days, or I just did 75 hard, or I just did that. Yes, when it makes sense. But if you post about it every single day, and it's just a selfie, or you working out every single day, there's nothing for us to say. How can I engage with it? Because you're not doing anything but showing me your face.
Right.
Or showing me your body. And so does that mean you shouldn't do it ever? You should do it sometimes if you're proud of something or happy with something or something happened. But for the most part, making content that makes someone think, makes someone laugh, makes someone curious, or teaches them something, that's shareable content.
Those four.
Those four.
Can you repeat those one more time?
makes someone laugh, makes someone think, makes someone curious, or teaches them something. If you do those things, that becomes shareable content. Because now it's not about you. Right? If you teach me how to, if you're super good at dribbling a basketball, that's cool. Not much I can say after you do that 17 times in a row, right? But if you teach me, how did you do that? That's shareable content.
That's valuable to the person that's following you.
You're changing my life.
Right.
Because now when I go to the basketball court in my local city and I do this, like, oh, how'd you do that? Oh, I watched Dribble too much. He taught me how to do it. Or I watched The Professor. I'm watching these guys do it, but they're showing me how they do it. They're posting videos of Kevin Durant versus this player, and they're saying, this is how he did this to Steph Curry. That's interesting. And in the next video, they're showing at the actual gym, okay, this was the move. Dun, dun, dun. Repeat. Dun, dun. And we're sitting at home like, oh shit, dun, dun, dun. That's how I do it. That's shareable content.
Yeah, engaging as well.
And so whatever it is that you do, show us the behind the scenes. Teach us something. Show us something. You're in real estate, you think real estate's boring? It's not boring. Show us how you remodeled the house. Don't show us the end product. Everybody shows us the pool after it's done. I want to see you digging. I want to see when a pipe exploded. Do you know how much more emotionally attached that would be to your house if you showed me that the pipe exploded and then you fixed it and then this happened and this happened and this happened and then now the pool's finished?
Way more. Way more.
I'm never going to buy that house. I live 3,000 miles away. I freaking love your house. And I forwarded it to 6 of my friends who do live over there. Everything I talk about is free and consistent and simple because it really is. I try to break it down that way because it makes me upset when people are overwhelmed by it because it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be. We have these things in our mind that are crutches of why we're not starting our businesses or why we're not building our personal brands and why we don't post on social media because we think there's this. We think that TikTok is just for kids. It has hundreds and hundreds of millions of users. I don't know if people realize this. There's not hundreds and hundreds of millions of children in this state, in this country. There's 350 million people here.
People total,
Yeah. So when they say there's hundreds and hundreds of millions of users, it's not all kids.
Right.
I've never posted a dancing around video on TikTok because I don't dance around. But I've got business videos with millions of views and 500,000 views and 200,000 views.
On TikTok.
On TikTok. And it's just me sitting like this interviewing someone. Some of them have 400 views. Some of them have 4,000 views. Some of them have 1.2 million views. I still want these.
Yeah.
It cost me the same thing as this one. 0.
Right.
But if I didn't do it, if I didn't take the time for the 400 views or the 4,000 views, I was never going to get the 1.2 million or the 400,000. And so, on the flip side, on Facebook, that same video only got 700 views. And on LinkedIn, it got 82,000. And on Instagram, it got 30,000. And on Twitter, it only got 200. And then completely opposite, take almost the exact same video with the exact same person, asking him a different question, same type of content. On Twitter, it got 800,000 views. Over here, it got 1 million views. Over here, only got 400 views. Over here, only got 600 views. So I just posted all of them. That's all I can do. I make content of what I actually do. I'm not going to dance around. I don't want you guys to have to dance around. You don't want to dance around? Don't dance around.
Just being authentic to you.
Yes. That's the whole thing of this. I only ask people, the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, is asking you to make content about things you already do. You're already a real estate agent. You're already a chef. You're already a personal trainer. You're already an accountant. Whatever it is that you already do, I'm just asking you to pull your phone out. I'm not asking you to buy a phone because you already have a phone.
Right.
That's how you're watching this right now.
And I think Gary Vee says something along the lines of you don't have to create, just document.
Yes.
And I think I'm hearing it in a very similar way.
Yeah. Creating content's hard. Documenting's not because it's your life.
It's your life.
You do it. You're going to do it anyways. You're going to be the real estate agent anyways. You're going to own the car wash anyways, or you're going to be the accountant anyways. You're going to be the personal trainer anyways. You already own the gym anyways. You already do these things anyways. And you're a magician and you don't know it. What you do when you own that gym is hard, like a magician. To us, it's really confusing. I don't know how to open a gym.
Yeah.
I don't know what the permits are. I don't know what the taxes are. I don't know what the insurance liabilities are. I didn't know that you had to have insurance liabilities till you made a video explaining it. I didn't know what hours you're open and why. I didn't know what happened during COVID and why you had to close and why you had restrictions. I don't know what your reopening procedures are. Well, now I do because you told me. Now it's interesting and I shared it with my friends.
When you said that you're a magician, you don't even know it, the first thought I'm like, I don't follow that, but that just literally blew my mind. Incredible. So putting a bow on this, are there any other big tips or strategies, and you've covered a lot already, located in your new book that potentially a business entrepreneur should know, but for whatever reason doesn't?
Every single thing that you want is cheap or free now. We got so nervous about things until now. All these different companies have made it cheap or free because competition does that. And so now, utilize all the mobile apps and all the websites that are out there to make things cheap or free. You want legal paperwork? LegalZoom.com. You don't want to hire a notary? All right, use DocuSign. You don't want to do X, Y, and Z? Use this app, use that website. You want to make logos and you don't know how to hire a designer? Go to logobids.com. Offer $60. Like, you just have so much access now through mobile apps and websites to any single category of anything you're looking for. You don't know how to make a business plan? No problem. Go to businessplans.com. You don't know how to make a marketing deck? No problem. Type it in. How to make a marketing deck. You don't know how to raise capital? No problem. Go to YouTube and write how to raise capital. Guess how much YouTube is? Everything you want to learn or know or do or have access to is free or cheap. All of it.
It's about being resourceful. Yeah, amen to that. All right, well, one other big topic I want to hit on, you talked about events, and certainly here at Fit Body Bootcamp and our podcast and just our ethers, masterminds are, very prevalent, and it's a huge reason why I've been able to scale to a handful of locations and be in the position I am. One of the big kind of, creations that you made, and we talked about it in your intro, is a $100 million mastermind event amongst a few others. Can you shed some light on that specifically? Because, our audience, if you haven't been, tuned into the mastermind role, I think it'd be really important takeaway.
So I went and watched and spoke at so many masterminds over the years. And so what I did was I took all the best parts and I removed all the bad parts, and I took out some of the things that people didn't really care about. It didn't move the needle to make the most high-end, expensive mastermind in the world. It's $100,000 per person, which is a lofty goal, to go from throwing free events for my whole life to just going to a $100,000 mastermind.
Just a little bit of a difference.
And within 2 months, we sold out all 100 spots.
How'd you do it?
I posted about it twice. And then at the end, right before the actual event, we threw small dinners. We threw 3 dinners in 3 different cities and invited local business entrepreneurs to buy up the last few spots.
That was towards the end, before the event launched.
Right before the event, yes.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring together 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure entrepreneurs to mostly meet with each other. And I brought in 22 instructors instead of it just being me and my partner, Joel Marion, who's good friends with Bedros. Joel's built a $700 million company and has 21 million email lists. He has all the things like on a whole different level. And so even when I approached him on throwing this mastermind with me and being my partner, how do I make it interesting for a guy with a $700 million company to want to throw an event that can generate X, right? We're capped at 100 members, so there's only X that it can generate revenue. It's the experience that we talked about at the very beginning of the podcast. I'm now, for him, creating something that's an experience year after year after year that he can now enjoy. And so for him, we now have these big production events.
You mean Joel, your partner?
Joel, my partner.
Yeah.
And so we throw these big production events where we have Mark Wahlberg was our opening speaker, and then we had Tyga and 2 Chainz and Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg and Kris Jenner.
All sorts of good stuff.
Nick Cannon, Chris Tucker, Magic Johnson, Floyd Mayweather, Rick Ross. And so we're bringing these characters together at these weekends as this fun experience for people, so I can hopefully do it year after year after year after year. And so that's why we spend so much money on production and celebrities and these crazy venues. And then I did a lower level one at a $30K price point for the real estate space called the Avengers. Same thing, I wanted to learn more about real estate, so I decided I'm gonna bring together a real estate mastermind. I'm not the instructor. I'm gonna bring together all these great characters that have sold thousands and thousands of properties and done thousands and thousands of deals, They're the instructors. So see what I did? Here I have 22 instructors, so it's all about them. It's not about Dan and Joel. There's 22 instructors. And the members talk with each other. Same on the real estate space. I want to learn more about real estate. Joel wants to invest in more real estate. Neither of us do. Great. We have lots of friends that have, and they're all close with Bedros as well. These guys do thousands of deals. Let's bring them all together, nickname them the Avengers, and let them be the leaders of the group. And these 100 people now all network with each other and with the other people. Bada bing, but stuff happens, right? And then we have the Operation Black Site now with Bedros. I wanted to do Jason Bourne identity stuff. And my wife came up with this idea, and we talked for like 6 hours on the road one day, literally driving to the Avengers event, actually, because we had so much stuff with us, we had to drive out there instead of fly. And so we loaded up this truck full of stuff for the event, and during that 6 hours, my wife's talking about this whole Jason Bourne identity experience, like, what if you took these things from the project, because she doesn't want to get beat up and yelled at. And some people like that, and some people can't go through it.
Right.
And so she's like, what if I took the things that are those cool elements from that, and then what if I brought this over so that CEOs and women, and at our first event, we had this guy named Chappie, who was like 71 years old. Our first person to sign up was this great woman. Like, there's all different characters that signed up that wanted to go through an experience. And so what Operation Black Site was, after that drive, right after that, I drove to meet with Bedros. Because I was like, hey, he's got the project, he's got the Squires program, he's got all these great things, he's thrown this for years. Who do I want to partner with to do that? Let me go to the number one guy in the space. So I showed up to Bedros and didn't tell him what it was, and I wrote on a whiteboard, Operation Black Site. And I listed out all the main characters that I wanted to speak at it, the main idea of what the event should or could look like. I had a rule about no blood, because I just wanted to make it so that girls and senior citizens would be able to go there and feel safe, that they're going to learn from UFC fighters and Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Tim Kennedy and the guy that shot bin Laden in the face. Like, these are the guys teaching you.
Right.
But I wanted them to feel safe and comfortable in that environment. And then once I had the whiteboard, I let Bedros do what he does. And he made it into the actual, he took the ingredients of the main idea of what I wanted, and he's like, oh, you could do this, and you should chop this up and do this, and this is how we can structure it. And then 2 months later, here we are.
Just had an awesome event.
And so you can see going from free events for 8 years, which I still throw these. I still throw elevator nights. I have another one coming up in August. I throw my free events. I'm still gonna do those. I still have my charity events. I have one this Saturday. I still throw all my events for free, but I have my 100K, my 30K, my 10K that people can attend for different categories of different things. And by doing that, it just keeps compounding my Rolodex. So whether you're attending events or throwing events, going out there and meeting people, it changes the entire scope of your life. The main thing I'll say, this is really important, is the main thing about my network is it's the fast forward button for anything I want in the world. If you say I want to manufacture red shirts, I'm like, oh, you should talk to this guy, or this guy, and they'll make it for you. And then you'll have 3 different quotes. Like, yeah, but where am I going to ship it from? Oh, well, this is the warehouse. You can choose one in Thousand Oaks, Cleveland, Ohio, or New York City. Here's their number and here's their email. Yeah, but who's going to design it for me? I'm like, oh, I know this great designer. This guy's done it, she's done it, and she's done it. Choose anyone you want. I could keep going this for an hour, right? Everything about the red shirts that you make, I know someone that can manufacture it, ship it, buy it, sell it, paid medias, every single aspect of it, because of my Rolodex.
Because of the foundation of event after event you've put together.
Yes.
And this is why when Joan's upstairs being like, Dan Fleyshman, I tell you, that guy is the most connected guy we have in our Rolodex. And that's the reason why.
Consistency, over and over and over.
Good on you, man. That's awesome. And that's huge value for our audience. So I want to thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Well, my friend, you've been so gracious with your time. I have a few more minutes with you, and I want to transition to the lightning round if you're up for it.
Let's go.
There we go. You've already, provided so much value, but this will be the last opportunity to give the audience some golden nuggets. First and foremost, passion. You have a lot of passions, but what would you say is your biggest passion today, and why?
My charity, Model Citizen Fund. For the last 8 years, we make backpacks for the homeless with 150 emergency supply items inside. It's half food and drinks, half of it's like cleaning supplies, a watch, a poncho, hat, sleeping bag, etc. And so that's been my main passion for years and years and years, and I'm going to do that charity for the rest of my life. And essentially we give out the backpacks to homeless shelters, women abuse shelters, and orphanages. And it's just so straightforward. We're handing people 14 pounds of supplies, and that's it.
Good on you. I've heard you talk about that many times in many podcasts. Certainly admire that. Next up, advice. You certainly give a lot of great advice. What would you say is one of the best piece of advices that you've ever received, and what was the outcome?
So my number one piece of advice is 3 words. Just get started. And the reason for it is we all have this idea and that idea, and we want to do this and we want to do that, and then we just don't do it, and then 1 month becomes 3 months, 3 months becomes 3 years, and then it just doesn't happen. Now, what if in that same idea we're going to make the red shirt company, and I actually go get on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and Snapchat, and TikTok, and I go get @redshirts. Guess how much that costed us? Then I go GoDaddy.com and look up coolredshirts.com, because I can't get redshirts.com, that's taken. I get coolredshirts.com or theredshirts.com, and I spend $12.99. Then I go to businessplans.com and I make my plan of how you and I are going to partner together and we're going to sell red shirts for the fitness industry. And I go to make my business plan, that cost me $0.00. And then I have my social media accounts, I have my red shirts, I go to logobids.com and I go ask around for people to design it. I give them a $60 budget, and I go get 3 designs. I spend $180, I got 3 shirts. And I make a couple myself, and now we got 6. We got 6 shirts designed, a website, a business plan, a deck, all the social media accounts, and I start posting up pictures of our 6 red shirts across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. We just got started. How much did I spend? A couple $100? I got our corporation, go get a bank account, go get a merchant account. We have a business. You and I have a business today that when people wake up tomorrow, our website's live, our social media is live, we got videos, we got pictures, we got e-commerce. I can call on retailers, they're like, hey, we sell the best red shirts. We're live. Where most people say, we should start a clothing line together, buddy. We have a beer, drink, and we never start the clothing line.
Right.
But you and I, by going through the simple checklist of basic things that don't cost much money, can have a business live today, selling by tomorrow.
And friends, for you viewing at home, I asked Dan off film, what is his zone of genius? Why has he, accumulated so much success? And that was actually his answer. So I'm super glad that you're able to put a bow on that for our audience. All right, my friend, last question, which would be a book recommendation. So we're standing right here right now. How to set up your brand for under a personal brand under $1,000 or less. From that, aside from this incredible book, actually, what's the URL where they can find your book at?
The website is buythisbook.com.
Buythisbook.com.
Yep.
Speaking of go to GoDaddy, buy a simple domain. Love this. So buythisbook.com.
Yep.
And then aside from your awesome book, what would be another source of learning or a book that you've read that's really been impactful in your life?
I mean, I still go back to the Old Faithful. I still go back to Think and Grow Rich. It's just the book that you can go back and look at year after year, and it makes you think about what you do in life. It makes you think about how you act and how you look at things. And so I still recommend everyone, even if you read it, go back and look at Think and Grow Rich. Totally.
My friend, this has been awesome. Yep. Where can our viewers connect with you at?
So all my social media is the same. It's just at Dan Fleyshman, Fleyshman. That's important for you guys. You should have the same bio, same photo, same screen name across every social media platform.
Cool. Knowledge bomb. Well, my friend, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Absolutely. And before we shoot, just want to acknowledge you. You are a mega entrepreneur, an action taker, someone that I look up to and admire for all the work that you've done. And it's really great to see you just on this incredible trajectory. You've added a lot of value in my life, a ton of people's lives, and certainly our audience today. So thanks so much, Dan, for being on the show. Really appreciate it, my friend. Well, friends, I know you got a ton of value today. I certainly did. And assuming that you did, if you can go ahead and like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and write us an awesome review, it'll help us continue to be able to provide this awesome content for free. And that's all we have for today. Thanks again, Dan.
Absolutely.